Next, we move on to writing expressions from sentences. So here we have 4, and the first one, it says that the sum of 8 and the product of 4 by 2. And we're asked to write numerical expressions. So the sum of means add, and product means multiply. So the sum of 8, so it's going to be 8 add the product of 4 by 2. 8 add 4 multiplied by 2. Now, if we were going to work that out, it would be 8 plus 8, which equals 16. So far, so good, hopefully. Next one, it says the sum, so we've got sum again and product again. But look at the wording, the sum of the product of 4 by 2 and 8. The product of 4 by 2 and 8. So that's going to be 4 and 2. That's the product of 4 by 2. And the sum with 8 plus 8. So that is equal to 8 plus 8, which equals 16. It's exactly the same as the one above. So the order is different, where it's written, but the sum is exactly the same. Okay, well, the answer is exactly the same. But make sure you get the order from the question itself. The sum of 8 and the product of 4 by 2, sum of 8 and the product of this, whereas the second one, it had the sum of the product and of 4 by 2 and 8. So be careful. Next one. The quotient, that means a fraction of 8 by the sum of 4 and 2. So the quotient, so 8 is going to be on the top, over by the sum of 4 and 2. Well, the sum is just adding, so 4 plus 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. If we wanted to work this out, it would be 8 over 6, and we could simplify that to 4 over 3. I mean, these questions only ask you for the numerical expressions, but in the test it might ask you to calculate the final answer as well. But just to review that one, the quotient of 8 by the sum of 4 and 2. Okay, the final one. Again, we have quotient and we have difference this time. And order is going to be really important with this. So pay special attention. The quotient of the difference of 4 and 2 by 8. So when it says the by 8 bit, that's going to be at the bottom. And the difference of 4 and 2 is 4 minus 2. The 4 comes before the 2 in my sentence, so the 4 comes before 2 in my difference. 4 subtract 2 is equal to 2. 2 over 8, which equals 1 over 4. So here we have quotient, so we have a fraction of the difference, subtraction of 4 and 2, 4 minus 2, not 2 minus 4, by 8, because that's the bottom of my quotient of my fraction. Now the really horrible one, writing sentences to represent the calculations. So let's have a look at these. So the first one, 2 plus 7 times 3. Now we know we're going to do the 7 times 3 first, and then we're going to add on to the 2. But I'm going to try and write it the way it's written down. So we have the sum of 2 and the product of 7 by 3. So that is the sum of 2 and the product of 7 by 3. The next one here, we are adding the 2 plus 7 first, then we're multiplying by 3. So we're going to end up with the product, because we're multiplying, of the sum, because that's one on the left, the sum of 2 and 7, so that's my bracket, by, because that's the one that's been multiplied by, 3. The next one is similar, but it's a division. So instead of product, it's quotient. The quotient of the sum, because this is the thing on the top of the quotient, the sum of 2 and 7 by 3. So look at the similarity. It's exactly the same sentence, apart from first one says product, second one says quotient, because that's the difference here. D. It's 2 minus 7 times 3. So it's going to be a difference question and a product question, a different statement and a product statement. So we have the difference of 2 and the product of 7 by 3. Difference because it's a takeaway. 2, which is the first one, and this one is a product of 7 by 3. The next one is the same numbers, but we have brackets here, so we're going to do that thing has to appear first in a way. So what we have here is still a product, but what we do this time is we do the product of the difference of 2 and 7. So the product of the difference, so the product of the difference being the bracket here, 2 and 7, by 3. So the product of the difference of 2 and 7 by 3. And then the final one here, it's a quotient. We have an addition as well. So this is the quotient of the sum, this is the top of the fraction, of 2 and 7 by, and the denominator of my quotient is 3 by 3. So the quotient, because we've got a fraction, sum, because we're doing 2 plus 7, by 3, the denominator. Finally, we have a problem here where it's written in words. We want you to write an expression for this. You may also be asked to solve it, so I'm going to do both in case you've actually done that in your revision. So here we have Lisa buying some apples, pears, and apples. 2 different priced apples, maybe 2 different types of apple, I don't know. Write an expression for how much is spent and how much left from €10 note. So what has she done? So the expression for how much she spent. So she spent, let's have a look. It's going to be 7 lots of 0.30 or 0.30. She spent it on one set of apples, plus she's also got 4 lots of 0.45, plus she's got 5 lots of a different apple multiplied by 0.25. So this amount here represents what she spent. And how much does she have left from €10? Well, the change will be 10 minus what she spent. So that would be her change, what she has left over. The change from the €10. So what are we expecting in the answer? Well, simply we just want 10 minus 7 times 0.30 plus 4 times 0.45 plus 5 times 0.25. Remember, we do multiplication first, but look at the expression. There's an error here, because if I do 10 take away this, plus this, it's not going to work. I need to take away all of this, the total of this. So what you must make sure you do is, because the spent was done first, all of that goes inside a bracket. Now it makes sense, because it's 10 take away everything I spent. So let me write that again, just to make that a bit clearer, hopefully. It's 10 minus what she spent. So 7 times 0.3 plus 4 times 0.45 plus 5 times 0.25. What does that equal? Well, it's 10 minus bracket 210 plus 180 plus 125, which is 10 minus 515, which equals €4.85.